Hello everyone and welcome to World of Flashpoint, where I talk about everything Flashpoint. This week we continue our journey through all the Flashpoint books, starting with Green Lantern Abin Sur. Written by Adam Schlagman with art by Felipe Masifera. So, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. The story begins many years ago on the planet Angara. A young Abin Sur is annoyed by this beetle. He flicks it off his nose and he goes to kill it, but his sister, Aaron, stops him. One major deviation from the comics that I've already noticed is that Aaron is depicted as his older sister in this book and not his younger sister. But she teaches him how important life is. All life matters, even those of the annoying bugs, because this beetle is responsible for producing the glow fruit that Abin Sur loves so much. And so he lets the beetle go. We then cut to the future where Abin Sur is a Green Lantern and he's saving people, he's saving lives, because that's what he loves doing. He's fighting against a manhunter at the moment, and the manhunter believes that all emotion should be extinguished, and that because Abin Sur has emotion in his body, he needs to be extinguished as well. Something you may notice from the art in this book is that it's heavily inspired by the Green Lantern movie. The costumes all look the same, so do the character designs. The movie was coming out around this time. Abin rips the head of the manhunter off. He's like, "No man shall be harmed." And the aliens that he saved ask him who he is, what his name is, and Abin just leaves. He's like, "How can you destroy something so sacred? You've ruined so many lives and taken everything I know." And that is when Sinestro shows up, looking like Mark Strong. He reveals that the Black Lanterns are currently attacking the universe. They are attacking sectors, killing Green Lanterns. We see a shot of Kilowog here, who has been killed off panel, and Sinestro wants Abin's help to go and fight Necron, but Abin wants to go and talk to the Guardians about this, and Sinestro says that Abin's sister would be disappointed in him for not taking initiative and caring too much about life, because he believes that Abin cares so much about life that it's gone to a point where he may not even have any emotions, and Abin strikes him across the face. It's like, "Don't you dare bring up my sister." And it's like, because we have the relationship that we have, I'm gonna let that one slide. You become so blind in your obsessive quest to protect life, you no longer see the greater threats this universe faces. Keep fighting, Abin, for if you don't, you're just like them, emotionless. The Guardians have a meeting about the Black Lanterns and the Manhunters. They also talk about the war that is currently going on Earth between the Amazons and the Atlanteans, and they decide to summon Abin to them so that they can send him to Earth. They want him to find the white entity, which is what we know powers the White Lanterns. They want him to grab that white entity, bring it back to Oa, and Abin wants to save as many lives as he can while he's there. And the Guardians are like, hey, we didn't tell you to go there to save lives. We just want you to bring the entity. That's it. Screw planet Earth. And Abin is like, no, I'm gonna save people's lives, because that's what I do, because life is sacred. So he leaves, he gets in his ship, he flies over to Earth, he sees that there are 6 billion lives on Earth, and he's like, okay, well, I'm definitely gonna not let anyone die. If the Guardians are wrong, I will do everything in my power to ensure this world is saved. I was unable to protect Angara, but I will not fail Earth. And then his ship gets attacked by a laser, and he's gonna crash into Earth. And he says to the computer on his ship, if I die, I want to send my ring out to somebody else. And we see a fighter jet fly by, and we know that Hal Jordan is probably in there. So you're thinking, wow, it's going to play out the same. Abin's going to die, and then Hal Jordan's going to become a Green Lantern. Abin Sur crashes into the ground, and then we cut to the planet Yzmolt, where Sinestro meets with Atrocitus, and it's revealed that in this timeline, Atrocitus killed Black Hand, and that's how Necron was freed. Atrocitus assumes that Sinestro needs his help, but Sinestro's like, no, you're responsible for all this. I just need to regain order. Now, Atrocitus, tell me the prophecy of the Flashpoint. And we see that he has Atrocitus in chains, and that Atrocitus somehow knows about the Flashpoint. So he must know that Barry Allen changed the timeline or something? I guess we'll find out. This is where things start to get interesting. Many years ago on Ungara, Abin is training Sinestro on how to use his ring. He says that strength is what's most important, but Sinestro is like, actually, it's not strength that's important, it's control. And Abin's like, good job, Sinestro, you're learning. It's making you stronger. And that is when Arin arrives, and it's like, oh, hey, Abin, I brought some fresh glow fruit for you. Val, this is my sister, Abin Sur. And you see Val Sinestro's face. This is the moment he fell in love with Arin, which is what happened in the main timeline as well. Now, in the present day, Abin Sur has arrived on Earth, crash landing, and he's met Hal Jordan, except this time, Abin's not gonna die. He's like, I need to survive this, so Hal Jordan, can you please take me to safety and help me? But before he can, Cyborg shows up and is like, hey, get away from that. That is property of the United States of America. And Hal Jordan is like, but he's an alien and he needs help. And Cyborg is like, yeah, give him to me. We'll help him. So they take Abin to a test tube. He recuperates and breaks out of the test tube. He's like, who the hell are you? What did you do with me? And Cyborg attacks him, shoots him with a laser, and then is like, no one. We only want to help you. My name is Cyborg. Welcome to Earth. Yeah, great welcome. You're gonna blast the guy in the face and be like, hey, welcome, we're here to help you, not hurt you. Abin states that the world is in danger, and Cyborg asks if he's here to help them, and Abin says, no, I'm not, but I want to. I'm here to get this entity, but I do want to help you guys. And so Cyborg asks him to join, and Abin does, and we see a meeting with the president, who was Obama at the time. It's just straight up Obama in this book. He's like, hey, I want to introduce everybody to Abin Sur. He's our new alien friend. He's going to be helping us now. He's already saved lots of Europeans alongside Cyborg, and he's going to continue searching for Europeans and helping them. So Abin flies out to go and search for more people to save. The Guardians get in contact with him and are like, have you found the entity? And he's like, nope. And Guardians are like, you gotta put this other stuff aside and find the entity for us. And Abin's like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. See ya, screw you. And he turns off the hologram. He goes to Europe, starts looking around, he finds some life, but the life he finds is Thal Sinestro. Sinestro shows up, he's like, Abin, I got some things to talk about with you, something really important to reveal. So I went and talked to Atrocitus, and he told me about this thing called Flashpoint, and we see that Sinestro killed Atrocitus as well. After he learned what he needed, he blew Atrocitus' head up. He's like, yeah, so apparently somebody has changed the timeline. This is not the regular timeline. There was another timeline that existed where you and your sister were dead, but everything was completely different. There was no war. So, what I want to do is find the person who was responsible for this, which was apparently the Flash. He's trying to change the timeline again. So what we're going to do is we're going to find him and make him change the timeline in a way that benefits us most. So Sinestro wants to create his own timeline where he is king or something, or has a really good life. And Abin disagrees with this. He doesn't want to help Sinestro. He's too busy focused on saving this timeline and the people in it. And that's when Sinestro states that Atrocitus said that as long as Abin Sur is alive in this timeline, Sinestro will never be able to succeed in his plan, so he needs to kill him. So they decide to fight each other. Sinestro grabs his sword, he stabs it into Abin's shoulder. He's like, I'm sorry, but this will all be over soon. You won't remember anything. And then he cuts Abin Sur's hand off. But the universe needs my help. So yeah, things are really starting to get interesting. I find it interesting that the writer decided to include the Flashpoint as a point of this plot, where Sinestro learns the truth and now is trying to change the timeline. That's interesting to me. Sinestro continues to proudly boast to Abin, stating that he is going to save the world, rid it of all chaos, and create a new timeline in his vision. And in order to do that, Abin must die. Abin is like, you are not a god, Thal. You have gone too far, becoming as corrupt as the universe you seek to fix, and no matter what you alter, you can never change that. The Flash will not be harmed. Your groveling is pathetic. No one will remember my actions this day, Abin. Especially you. Goodbye, old friend. You lack the will to do what is necessary. Abin orders his ring to create a construct of his own hand and attaches it to his body. Like, this is willpower. You never fully embraced it. Your potential was so high, I thought you would be our greatest, but I was sorely mistaken. You will answer for what you have done. He breaks Sinestro's hand and then smashes his ring. You are no longer worthy to wield the ring. My way was the only way to solve everything, Abin. You can't save everyone. I have to at least try. And your sister? What would she think if she knew you didn't even try to bring her back? My sister is dead, and she would know I am right. You are no longer the man she married. Goodbye, Thal. And Abin leaves him there in chains as he flies off to protect Earth. The Guardians get in contact with Abin and are like, hey, did you get the white entity? And Abin's like, no, but Thal betrayed us. And they're like, we don't care, we just want the white entity. It's like, you don't care about somebody betraying us? Do you know about this Flashpoint? And the Guardians kind of ignore him. And are like, Lantern 1417 is not to be trusted. Return to Ora immediately with the white entity. No. Not until I save this world. And the Guardians are like, you can't save this world. The war is destroying it. And Abin is like, look at this man. Look at this guy. His name is Cyborg. He has no fear. He is not afraid to save this world. Are you too afraid to believe that it's possible to save the world? And the Guardians are like, how dare you accuse us of feeling emotions? We are emotionless. Emotions are bad. Because you have failed us, you will be expelled from the Green Lantern Corps. Your powering has been deactivated, cut off from the central power battery. Once its energy fully depletes, a worthier champion will be chosen to protect Sector 2814. No, Guardians, do not do this. Too many lives are at stake. Guardians? Guardians? Answer me! And he just screams out because his ring is being taken away, and that is his one resource to help him protect lives, which is all he wants to do. It's like, wait, there may still be time. Ring, how much power remains? 13%. Ring, take me to England. So Abin goes to England, which is where the war is going on. He teams up with Cyborg and decides to try and save as many people as he can. He's like, I'm going to fight until my last breath. But then the Geoforce weapon is set off and earthquakes start sounding off, destroying everything. Cyborg's like, we got to do something to stop this. And Abin decides to fly straight into the core of the planet in order to try and stop the earthquakes. And he dies. His ring separates from his body and he meets Aaron in the afterlife. He's like, I failed. I died. She's like, no, you didn't fail. This is not the end for you. You were so focused on saving other lives that you never lived life for yourself. So now is the time for you to choose life. You cannot just soar above, but must remain in touch with all things. Remember, Abin, we are all connected. Abin Sur of Angara, so embrace your destiny. Live! And Abin Sur becomes a white lantern. And let life embrace you. Thank you, Aaron. I could not do this without you. It was always within you, Abin. I am ever so proud of you. They embrace each other, and Abin leaves. Like, I love you, little brother. And I know when the time is right, we will meet again. Now go save the world. And we see this final shot of Abin Sur as a white lantern preparing to save planet Earth. And that is where the Abin Sur series ends. And now we will move on to Hal Jordan. Also written by Adam Schlagman with art by Ben Oliver. The story begins with Hal Jordan's origin, which remains mostly the same from the original timeline, with him aspiring to become a pilot like his father, but his mother is against it, and Hal's like, I want to be like you anyway. And there's a day where he goes to see his father flying, and Carol is there. She wants to become a pilot as well, and Hal's like, you can't because you're a girl. And then his father crashes and dies, so that all plays out the same. Hal then becomes a pilot, but also has kind of a messed up life where he's a bit of a ruffian, beating up people. At the same time, he's drinking, and it seems he's cheated on Carol already in this timeline, because he said that he failed her, and we see the silhouette of Hal Jordan and another woman. And then the war between the Atlanteans and the Themyscirans happened, and Hal Jordan was one of the pilots who was tasked with keeping an eye on the border alongside Carol. And on the other end are Hector Hammond and Thomas Kalmaku, who is a longtime Green Lantern character, a friend of Hal Jordan, who I haven't seen in a while. Carol and Hal are flying through the skies together, and it seems their relationship is still pretty complicated because Hal asks her out to dinner, and Carol's like, look, I know you're sitting in a cockpit, but that doesn't give you the right to be one. And I was like, that's a pretty great comeback, Carol. It's a bit of a dick move to cheat on somebody and then continue to hit on them afterward. Like, what is wrong with you, Hal? Hal sees something moving on his radar, and it turns out to be Karshon the Shark, who just leaps on top of his plane. Karshon is a longtime Green Lantern villain. Originally, he looked a lot more unique. Here's a picture of what Karshon originally looked like. But then Jeff Johns came along and just made him a copy of King Shark, which was always disappointing. Carol tries to get a shot at Karshon. Now I'm starting to get the two mixed up as well. Hal is too close for her to get a shot at Karshon. And then Karshon jumps off of Hal's plane, latches onto Carol's, and Hal decides to do something incredibly stupid. He smashes his plane into Carol's and tells her to parachute out at the last moment. He crashes into the plane, and they luckily survive this. And everyone seems to care more about the fact that he's destroyed 2 government planes and not that he's succeeded in saving 2 lives. Like, even Carol was like, why'd you save my life and your life instead of just letting the planes, like, letting us die and keeping the planes safe? In the alternate scenario, Karshon probably would have killed them both and destroyed both of the planes. So regardless, the planes were going to be destroyed. As soon as Hal gets back, he's like, I gotta clear my head, I'm gonna go fly off. And Hector is like, no, you can't. You can't take that plane, I'm not gonna let you. And Hal's like, screw you, I'm going anyway. He gets in the plane, he flies off, and as he flies off, he sees Abin Sur's ship get hit. It falls to the ground. Hal arrives at the ship, he opens it up, and he sees Abin inside it, and Abin is like, Hal Jordan, you must help me save the universe. Hal Jordan saves Abin Sur from the wreckage, and the two get to know each other, where Abin says that he's going to finish his mission and then he will return to help protect the world. And he's like, alright, we've had enough of a conversation, Hal. I need to go and do my duty. So they part ways. And meanwhile, Hector Hammond is proven to be xenophobic because he believes that Abin Sur is nothing but trouble and that they can't trust him because he's an alien and that he's probably going to invade their planet with his people. And also, if he wanted to learn things from humanity, he shouldn't have picked Hal Jordan, because Hal Jordan is a simpleton. He's like, he should have picked somebody like me, because I'm super smart. And then their alarms go off, somebody has invaded their airspace, and Kalmaku is like, but nothing's on the radar. Hal, is that Green Lantern still with you? And Hal's like, no, there's invisible planes everywhere. I don't know how Hal can see them, but I guess they're not invisible enough. They destroy one of the planes down on Ferris Airways, and Hal is like, where's Carol? And Carol appears by him and is like, couldn't let you hog all the fun by yourself. Let's kick some Amazonian ass. And Carol comes up with a genius idea. She lets out all of her fuel, which lands on the Amazonian plains, revealing where they are. But then the planes leave, and they drop something, which at first they think is a bomb, but it turns out it's not a bomb. It's a cage containing a massive-ass 3-headed reptilian monster which starts breathing fire everywhere and destroying cars and buildings. And so they decide that they need to destroy this monster, so they start attacking it. But their bullets and things aren't doing anything to it because it has too strong of a hide. So they're like, we gotta get it from the inside. So they wait for it to open its mouths, they shoot directly into its mouths, blow up its heads, and save everybody. And we see a shot of Hal taking photos on top of this monster, like, yeah, we won! He's now a hero, and because he's a hero, he's been offered a new job. Because Hector and Thomas were working on Abin Sur's ship, fusing it with their plane technology so that somebody can fly it. And Hal Jordan is the one who is going to be flying the aircraft. He's like, I've agreed to fly it. You've what? Since the bunker survived the attack, Tom and Hector are finishing sinking the alien tech. Your company will soon have the greatest aircraft ever assembled. Are you an idiot? Don't you realize how dangerous it is? Carol tells Hal how stupid this is and that he's just gonna get himself killed if he goes out there, but Hal is already determined to go through with it. Meanwhile, Obama meets with Amanda Waller because Amanda is against hiring Hal Jordan to do this. And Obama is like, well, Steve Trevor is dead. This is the next best person we can get. It's better that we get somebody who is an American hero that the people look up to than somebody else. We need Jordan. And we see Obama meeting with Hal Jordan. He's like, you've been chosen to drop the Green Arrow nuke. Good luck, pilot. Thank you, Mr. President. So apparently Hal Jordan is going to be flying in that ship, dropping a nuke created by Oliver Queen. And we will actually learn more about this nuke in the Green Arrow one-shot later on. We're gonna talk about it later in a different video. Hal Jordan goes to visit Carol in order to say goodbye to her because he's about to head out on his mission to drop that nuke. And when he gets there, Carol is like, I'm joining you. I'm not letting you go out there to die without me. And Hal's like, God damn it, I never should have come here and talked to you about this. He heads over to the airfield where he gets prepared for his mission. He asks Hector if the plane is ready for Carol. Hector explains that he's managed to strip down the plane enough that it can hold this nuke, which is called the Green Arrow. Apparently it never misses his target, and Hal Jordan is like, thank God for Queen Industries, right? Hector tries to have a go at Hal, saying like, you're about to go into enemy territory with a nuke and you still got that smug look on your face? And Hal's like, you think I don't know how high the stakes are, Hector? You think after all that's happened, I'm not worried about myself or Carol or the rest of the world? I'm terrified. But if I focus on that, I won't get in the cockpit. That's not me, no matter what. Hal, good luck. And it's kind of the first time we see an exchange between Hector and Hal where Hector actually respects Hal. And they're respecting each other. He flies off. Carol arrives and flies alongside him. They make it to Themyscira where there is a force field around it, so they gotta break through. But before they can, they gotta deal with Giganta, who is working for the Themyscirans. She just jumps out of nowhere and starts attacking planes, grabbing them, destroying them, and then a couple of... I assume these are supposed to be Thenagarians, because they got maces and wings and stuff. They show up and start attacking planes as well, killing the pilots. So Hal deals with Giganta by shooting her in the eyes. I'm just going to assume Giganta is dead from this. But unfortunately, the controls on his plane have seized up. And Carol gets shot out of the sky. And Hal is like, you got to eject, Carol. And Carol's like, I'm not going to eject until you've done the nuke, Hal. And Hal's like, well, my controls are out. And she's like, yeah, but is your eject button working? Like, yeah. Look, what you need to do is eject last minute before you hit the force field. We'll eject together. You'll be fine. And Hal realizes that there's not enough time for him to eject. Carol ejects from the plane, and Hal is like, look, goodbye, Carol. And he crashes straight into the force field, the nuke explodes, and Hal dies, sacrificing himself to save the world. And Carol is just left completely distraught. Later on, Thomas Kalmaku comes to visit Carol. It's like, I know about what happened to Hal, it's really sad, but he wanted me to give you this, because he never was able to give it to you himself. And it's his diary, in which he says, like I said, I'm no hero. Do I have any regrets? Many. But none as great as this. And she finds a box in there as well. She opens it up, and there's a ring inside the box. And the last note in Hal Jordan's diary says, I love you, Carol, and always have. I've just been too afraid to say. Love always, your highball, Hal Jordan. And that's where the miniseries ends. Hal Jordan sacrifices himself, saving the world. He never got the chance to reveal his true feelings to Carol. Eventually he did. He just wasn't there to see the reaction. And it's a very bittersweet ending to the overall miniseries. I really enjoyed this miniseries. I've enjoyed both the Abin Sur and Hal Jordan one so far. I'm looking forward to getting to the next one, which is Legion of Doom. The last miniseries that we are covering today, written by Adam Glass, who is most known for his Suicide Squad series that was adapted into the movie. The movie was heavily based on it, with art by Rodney Buscemi and Jose Marzan Jr. So immediately, as expected with Adam Glass, this miniseries is very dark and edgy, and just a warning, it gets real gross later on towards the end of this issue. We begin with Heatwave, who is narrating this issue, where he comes across Firestorm, who splits apart into Jason Rush and Ronnie Raymond, and immediately Heatwave just points his fire blaster and kills Jason Rush. He just sets him on fire and kills him. Just messed up immediately. And then he turns to Ronnie and is like, "You are made of fire, so I want to become Firestorm. I want you to pair up with me and become Firestorm." And Ronnie's like, "That's not even how it works." And Heatwave is like, "Well, you're gonna make it work, or I'm gonna kill you." And then Cyborg blasts him. He shows up. He's like, "You killed Jason Rush, so I'm gonna have to take you in." And Heatwave blasts Cyborg with fire. Cyborg creates a shield, and then Heatwave hits the train with fire as it's going. So Cyborg not only has to stop the train, but he also has to stop the fire. Meanwhile, Heatwave decides to talk to Ronnie, but Ronnie's already on the back of the train. He's like, "Ah, damn it, I missed my chance." Cyborg puts out the fires, and then he goes to stop the train. Heatwave thinks he's succeeded in destroying the train, but then he turns around to see that Cyborg has successfully stopped the train with this massive shield that he created around it. And then Heatwave's like, "Can this day get any freaking worse?" And we see that one of his satchels is burst and some gas is coming out, and he explodes in flames. He's just like, "Ah!" And because of this, he gets sent to death row by Cyborg. And while on death row, we see that he's being swirled by another prisoner. This prisoner is, according to Heatwave, half metahuman. He breaks this guy's leg, douses him in gasoline that he just happens to be in the bathroom. Who's keeping gasoline in the bathroom, or like flammable chemicals like this? And then he sets it alight and kills the guy. Just sets him on fire. So yeah, this miniseries is just extremely dark. To a point where I don't really like that. But I was never really a big fan of Adam Glass's books. And then Amazo shows up because he's the guard at the prison. And he's like, "You murdered Jason Rush, you're on death row, you've also just killed somebody, so we're gonna put you in solitary confinement." So Heatwave gets chucked in solitary confinement, and he explains where this death row is located. It's located in a swamp, because if you've ever heard of the Legion of Doom from the Super Friends cartoon, that is what this death row is. It is built within the Legion of Doom base, and is owned by Queen Industries. And we see some of the prisoners coming to the Legion of Doom base. One of them is Cluemaster, and so he is now an inmate. Cluemaster is here to meet with Heatwave because Heatwave wanted him to come in here so they could work together in order to escape. We see Heatwave in the prison yard, meeting up with some of the prisoners there. One of them wants to kill him, but he's stopped by Zazaz, and he's like, "Yeah, just leave him alone. Like, we're not going to deal with this guy right now." Cluemaster meets up with Heatwave, and he's like, "We already have a problem. This guy won't leave me alone." And there's this other criminal who's like, "Yeah, the new fish all belong to me." And Heatwave just kicks him in the groin. Like, "Last thing I need is some Neanderthal with sugar in his tank getting in my way." And he slaps Cluemaster on the back, and they head off to Heatwave's cell, where he starts talking to somebody that seems to not be Cluemaster. And Cluemaster's like, "Who the hell are you talking to?" And then he starts feeling like he's burning up. He's like, "Ugh, there's something wrong. My gut is starting to really cramp up. I really shouldn't have brought this in. Like, if I knew muling this in was going to hurt this much, I would have asked for more money." And you're thinking like, "Oh, he's brought drugs in. He smuggled drugs or something." And his mouth just starts splurting blood. Blood starts splurting out. Some hands come out of his mouth, grabbing his mouth. An arm stretches out of his mouth. And it turns out that Plastic Man was inside of him. It's disgusting. He comes out. He's like, okay, you're ready to blow this popsicle stand? And Adam Glass seems to have a weird thing for this. Like stretchy people being inside other people and climbing out. Because he does the exact same thing in Suicide Squad. There's this character who gets eaten by King Shark. And then later on, he comes out of King Shark's body. So there's a pattern with this. Adam Glass has some kind of fixation with this sort of shit. And this series just continues to go downhill. Heatwave has killed the leader of this one gang at the prison, and he and Plastic Man are going to force them to help him. We don't really get any proper explanation as to why Plastic Man is evil in this series. He just is. Like, Heatwave's like, oh, he got his powers, and then he went insane because his powers turned into a monster. And it's like, yeah, but why? Why is he a bad guy? Why did he become a bad guy and not a good guy? Like, what were the differences that made him out this way? No, Adam Glass doesn't bother explaining. And he does that with a bunch of characters in this series, where they are different just for the sake of being different without any flashbacks or anything to explain it. Like, one example is Animal Man. See, Heatwave's group comes across the Metahuman gang, and they refuse to side with Heatwave, and one of the people on the Metahuman gang is Animal Man. The reason why he is in the prison is Buddy Baker had apparently killed his family, though he says he's innocent and that he was framed for killing them. We never actually find out if this is true or not. We never see any flashbacks of this or anything, but he's been in prison so long that now he started to think more like the prisoners and has become more of a bad guy, and he wants to take out Heatwave, so he fights against him. He uses the powers of a cockroach to fight Heatwave. He smashes his face against the wall, rips off some of his clothes, then attacks his chest. He's gonna go rip out his heart or something, but before he can, Heatwave is like, you forgot one animal that's more dangerous than any. Oh yeah? Which one is that? Man. And then Heatwave bites his nose off, which is disgusting, and spits it out. Like, by the way, I like you better with your collar on. And then he grabs Animal Man while Animal Man is begging for his life, saying that he's innocent and that he didn't kill his family and stuff. Heatwave curb stomps him. He puts his head down on some cinder blocks and then crushes it with his foot. It's disgusting, and I hate it. I hate this miniseries. The more I read it, the more disgusting and edgy it gets, the more I don't like it. Then Amazo shows up, and he's like, time to put an end to all of you because you're trying to escape from prison. So he just starts breaking arms, shooting lasers through people, knocking their teeth out, and he tries to scan Mick, but Mick is now fused with Plastic Man, so Amazo can't quite figure out if it's him or not, but he's like, doesn't matter, Mick is supposed to die, and I'm gonna kill him right now. So he goes to kill Mick. Plastic Man comes flying out. He stabs Amazo in the eye, and they find out who is controlling Amazo. It is the Atom, Ray Palmer. And in this timeline, Ray Palmer is disabled because apparently when he got his powers, there was radiation poisoning and it made him disabled. Because of course it did, because this is Adam Glass and everything has to be dark and depressing. So Heatwave grabs the Atom, and the Atom shows them where all of their stuff is and says that their stuff isn't even going to work, so they shouldn't even bother trying. And then he says to Heatwave that he knows that Heatwave's goal isn't to get out of the prison. He has other plans as well, like when he burnt his, and before he can finish his sentence, Ray Palmer crushes his head, which is, again, disgusting. Like, I was reading this, and this just caught me off guard, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? This series sucks. I hate how dark and gross it is. Heatwave gets all of his gear back, as well as the other supervillains getting their gear back as well. And then we learn a little bit about Heatwave and Plastic Man's relationship. Barely anything. Apparently, Plastic Man owes him one. We never find out why he owes him anything. Apparently they had a relationship in the past. We don't see any of that. There's no flashbacks to establish this relationship. Like, give me something, Adam. Don't just say stuff. Show us. If there is a relationship between Heatwave and Plastic Man, show us some flashbacks so I can care. We then find out that Heatwave's real plan is to destroy Detroit City to get revenge on Cyborg, who humiliated him before. So he's flown the Legion of Doom base over to Detroit City to destroy it. Heatwave prepares to crash headfirst into Detroit City, but Plastic Man stands against him because he's like, I might be a bad person, but I don't kill innocent people. You know, I'm not a hero, but that's going too far. And so Heatwave sends Sportsmaster and Lockup to kill him, but Plastic Man just stabs Lockup in the eyes and puts his hand down Sportsmaster's throat, rips his heart out. It's really gross, but, you know, that's just what this miniseries is like. And then Plastic Man fights against Heatwave, but Heatwave just blasts him with his flames and melts him into a puddle of burnt goo. So Plastic Man is dead, as far as we can tell. Meanwhile, Cyborg is saving people in Detroit City when he sees the Legion of Doom base heading straight for the city. So he decides that he needs to stop it. He tries to hack into it, but his hacking is overridden by the Thinker. And Heatwave is like, you better take control of this base, or we'll do to you what we did to Plastic Man. And so the Thinker starts heading towards an ice rink in order to destroy that. So Cyborg makes his way over there, and because he can't hack into the base, he hacks into the ice rink so that he can warn everybody, get them to evacuate from the ice rink. And then he communicates with Heatwave and tells Heatwave that he knows about his plan and that he's going to stop him. He shoots a whole bunch of sound waves at the base, sending it flying away from the ice rink while he attaches himself to the base so that he can go with it. He lands the base in the river and the base explodes. A lot of the people on death row die, but the survivors emerge from the wreckage and are planning to destroy the city, but Cyborg is still there. And he's like, yeah, you're not gonna destroy the city because I'm stubborn, I'm gonna stop you. And Heatwave is like, we could kill you right now, but we're not going to. We're gonna kill all these innocent people and then we'll kill you. And Cyborg calls him a coward for not putting him out of his misery right now. And so Heatwave and Cyborg decide to fight each other. Heatwave gets the upper hand very quickly. He grabs Cyborg's arm and starts beating him with it. He's mad because Cyborg stopped him from becoming Firestorm, because apparently that was Heatwave's dream. It's really weird. But before Heatwave can finish Cyborg off, Cyborg regains control of his own arm and starts choking Heatwave. And then he grabs Heatwave's fire gun and destroys it. And then he punches Heatwave in the face, knocking him out. And he's like, that's it, Heatwave. You're done. We saved the city. Even though you destroyed a lot of it, we're going to rebuild. The city is going to be better than ever. But you know what's going to happen to you? You're going to be locked away forever. And he sends him to prison where he gains a new cellmate. And the cellmate says that somebody hates Heatwave and that he's going to get his revenge. And Heatwave is like, oh, you mean Cyborg? That guy won't do anything. He's like, no, not him. Not Cyborg. But he lied to me. He didn't say it would hurt. It would hurt this bad. And the guy starts spewing up blood. You know exactly what's happening. Plastic Man is emerging from his body to get revenge on Heatwave, because sooner or later, everyone gets what they got coming to them. And so Heatwave dies off panel. He's probably murdered by Plastic Man. And that's where the miniseries ends. Thank God. I'm glad it's over. I hated it. What a way to end this off. Like, the Abin Sur and Hal Jordan miniseries were really great. And then we had to end with this bullshit Adam Glass Legion of Doom miniseries. It's nothing but just edge, gore, blood, violence, dark. Yeah, it's just awful. I did not like it at all. I'm glad it's over. If you're interested in reading any of these Flashpoint miniseries, I highly recommend reading the Abin Sur and Hal Jordan ones, but skip out on the Legion of Doom one because it does nobody a service with reading that. It's just horrible. I hope you enjoyed this video though, regardless. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next week for more Flashpoint miniseries. Have a good one.